In a quiet part of the galaxy, far from the busy centers of advanced alien civilizations, humanity had been quietly building its future. Earth's people had spread out into dozens of star systems, creating colonies and living in peace. They weren't interested in joining the politics or wars of other species. Instead, they focused on survival, science, and exploration. On an orbiting space station called New Horizon *, Commander Alex Carter watched over a secret project named Project Dawn. It was a military program designed to prepare humanity for any threats that might come from the stars. At the same time, aboard a research ship called EOS *, Dr. Laura Bennett was studying strange energy readings coming from a nearby nebula. These signals didn't match anything she had seen before. They pulsed irregularly, almost like they were trying to communicate. Laura worked tirelessly, running tests and gathering data. She felt a growing sense of unease, as if these signals carried a warning. Her instincts told her something big and dangerous was lurking just beyond the edge of human knowledge. Back on Earth, tensions were rising. The leaders of humanity's government argued about what to do next. Some wanted to stay hidden, believing that keeping to themselves was the safest path. Others thought it was time to reach out to alien civilizations and form alliances. Among them was Senator Grace Monroe, a cautious woman who feared provoking powerful alien empires. She often clashed with Alex, who believed humanity needed to be ready for whatever came their way. One day, while patrolling near uncharted space, Lieutenant Ryan Mitchell and his small crew picked up a distress signal. It came from a drifting alien ship, battered and dark. Against orders, Ryan decided to investigate. When they boarded the vessel, they found a horrifying sight. The corridors were littered with bodies, alien bodies. Each corpse showed signs of violent deaths, as though they had been hunted down one by one. In the center of the ship, they discovered a lone survivor, barely alive. Before dying, the alien whispered two chilling words: "Krill, coming." When Ryan reported back to New Horizon *, Alex wasted no time. He called an emergency meeting with Earth's leaders. Using Ryan's findings and Laura's research, he argued that humanity faced a real threat. The Krill, whoever they were, seemed intent on conquering others. Ignoring this danger wasn't an option anymore. But not everyone agreed. Senator Monroe worried that preparing for war would make humanity look aggressive. She urged caution, even as fear began to spread among the colonies. Laura, meanwhile, continued her work. She pored over the data collected from the alien ship and the mysterious energy readings. Slowly, a picture started to emerge. The Krill weren't just conquerors, they were hunters. Their goal wasn't simply domination, but erasure. Entire civilizations had vanished after encountering them. And now, based on the patterns in the energy signals, Laura realized the Krill were heading straight for human territory. As whispers of war reached more ears, the mood across the colony shifted. People who once lived without worry now looked to the stars with suspicion. Stores of supplies dwindled as families prepared for the worst. Militias formed on frontier planets, ready to defend their homes. Yet, despite the growing fear, there was also a spark of determination. Humanity had faced challenges before. This time wouldn't be any different. On New Horizon *, Alex stood staring out at the vast expanse of space. He knew the battle ahead wouldn't be easy, but deep down, he believed in humanity's strength. If they could unite, they might stand a chance against the storm approaching from the stars. For now, all they could do was wait and prepare. The galaxy trembled when humanity joined the war, but no one knew yet how it would end. The discovery of the alien ship sent shockwaves through humanity's fragile peace. News of the Krill spread quickly, though few understood the true gravity of the situation. Lieutenant Ryan Mitchell became a reluctant hero after his report reached Earth. His crew's bravery in investigating the derelict vessel was praised, but it also brought fear. People began to realize that the galaxy was not as empty or safe as they had hoped. The words "Krill, coming" echoed in everyone's minds. a grim warning of what might lie ahead. Commander Alex Carter worked tirelessly to rally support for Project Dawn. He knew humanity couldn't face such a threat unprepared. At an emergency meeting on New Horizon Asterisk, he presented evidence gathered from the alien wreckage and Dr. Laura Bennett's research. Laura explained how the energy readings matched patterns associated with advanced weaponry and fleet movements. She showed simulations predicting when and where the Krill might strike next. Her presentation left no room for doubt. Humanity was running out of time. Senator Grace Monroe still resisted the idea of preparing for war. She argued that escalating tensions could provoke the Krill further. "We don't even know if this is real," she said during one heated debate. "For all we know, these signals could be harmless. Why risk everything based on speculation?" Her words carried weight, especially among those who feared change. But Alex countered her arguments with cold logic. "If we wait until we're certain," he replied, "it will already be too late." While the leaders debated, ordinary people began taking matters into their own hands. Across the colonies, volunteers signed up for military training programs. Factories once dedicated to civilian goods shifted production to build weapons and defense systems. On Earth, protests broke out, some demanding action, others pleading for peace. Among the chaos stood Private Ethan Cole, a young soldier haunted by loss. Years earlier, pirates had attacked his family settlement, leaving him orphaned. Now he saw this as his chance to protect others from suffering the same fate. Ethan trained alongside recruits like Samantha Sam Rivers, a sharp-tongued mechanic turned soldier. Sam often joked about how she'd rather fix engines than fight wars, but her determination never wavered. Together, they learned to operate new technologies developed under Project Dawn. These innovations included faster ships, stronger shields, and experimental weapons designed to counter unknown threats. Despite their differences, Ethan and Sam formed a bond rooted in shared purpose. Meanwhile, Laura continued analyzing data from the alien ship. With help from her team, she uncovered fragments of information stored in the vessel's damaged computers. The more she learned, the clearer the picture became. The Krill weren't just conquerors, they were systematic destroyers. Their campaigns followed a chilling pattern: locate, invade, harvest, and annihilate. Entire worlds disappeared without a trace after encountering them. Laura realized that Earth's unique ecosystems made it a prime target for their next attack. As days passed, sightings of strange ships near human borders increased. Patrols reported brief encounters with unidentified vessels that vanished before contact could be made. Each report added fuel to the growing fire of paranoia. Civilians spoke in hushed tones about invasion plans and hidden bunkers. Even children played games imagining battles against alien foes. Humanity teetered on the edge of panic, but also unity. For the first time in centuries, Earth's scattered colonies acted as one. Back on New Horizon Asterisk, Alex finalized plans for humanity's defense strategy. He proposed forming a united fleet called the United Defense Force, UDF, composed of ships and personnel from every colony. Though some leaders hesitated, the majority agreed. Grace reluctantly supported the decision, recognizing that doing nothing would leave humanity vulnerable. As the UDF took shape, Alex appointed trusted officers to lead its divisions. Among them were Ryan, now promoted to captain, and Laura, who would oversee technological development. One evening, as Ethan and Sam sat together in the mess hall, they talked about what lay ahead. "Do you think we can win?" Sam asked, her voice unusually quiet. Ethan stared at his hands, remembering the faces of those he'd lost. "I don't know," he admitted, "but I do know we have to try." His words resonated deeply, not just with Sam, but with everyone listening nearby. Humanity braced itself for the storm approaching from the stars. No one knew exactly when or where the Krill would strike, but one thing was certain: when they did, humanity would answer. The galaxy trembled, sensing the rise of a new player in its ancient conflicts, and though fear lingered, so did hope. a fragile but powerful force driving humanity forward. The tension in human space grew thicker with each passing day. Patrols along the borders reported more frequent sightings of strange ships, their designs unlike anything seen before. These vessels moved quickly and disappeared just as fast, leaving behind only faint energy trails. It was clear that the Krill were watching, testing humanity's defenses. On New Horizon Commander Alex Carter worked around the clock to strengthen the United Defense Force, UDF. Every resource, every ship, and every soldier was being prepared for the battle ahead. Private Ethan Cole spent long hours training with his unit. The exercises were grueling, designed to push recruits to their limits. Ethan didn't mind the physical strain. He welcomed it. Pain was something he understood. It reminded him of the past, of the night pirates had attacked his home. But what weighed on him now wasn't just fear for himself. It was the thought of failing others. He couldn't let another family suffer like his had. During breaks, he often found himself talking to Samantha Sam Rivers, who seemed to share his determination. Sam, for her part, was adjusting to life as a soldier. She wasn't used to taking orders or following strict routines, but she threw herself into the work with surprising focus. Her mechanical skills made her invaluable when it came to repairing damaged equipment or modifying weapons. One evening, while tinkering with a prototype rifle, she joked to Ethan, "If we survive this, I'm opening a repair shop somewhere quiet. No aliens allowed." Ethan laughed, though there was a sadness in his eyes. They both knew survival wasn't guaranteed. Dr. Laura Bennett remained at the heart of humanity's efforts. Her research had revealed critical details about the Krill, their tactics, their technology, and their weaknesses. She worked closely with engineers to adapt human ships and weapons to counter the Krill threat. Late one night, as she reviewed data from the alien wreckage, she noticed something alarming. The energy signatures she'd been tracking weren't random. They formed a pattern. The Krill were planning a coordinated attack, targeting multiple colonies simultaneously. If they succeeded, humanity would be crippled. Laura rushed to share her findings with Alex. Together, they devised a plan to fortify key locations and deploy UDF forces strategically. Earth's leaders finally agreed to prioritize defense over debate. Senator Grace Monroe, once hesitant, now supported the measures wholeheartedly. "We can't afford to wait," she admitted during a council meeting. "If we fall, we take our people with us." As preparations continued, ordinary citizens did what they could to help. Farmers donated food supplies to feed the growing military. Teachers turned schools into shelters, ready to house refugees if necessary. Even children pitched in, collecting scrap metal for weapon production. Across the colonies, a sense of unity emerged. People who had never met before worked side by side, driven by a shared goal: survival. One afternoon, Ethan and Sam joined a group of volunteers reinforcing a colony's perimeter defenses. The work was exhausting, but no one complained. As they hammered plating onto a barricade, an older man approached them. His name was Henry, a retired engineer who had lost his son to pirate raids years ago. "You kids remind me of him," he said, his voice rough with emotion. "Brave, determined." Ethan nodded silently, feeling a lump in his throat. Sam smiled weakly and thanked him, though neither of them knew what to say. That night, under the artificial glow of New Horizon lights, Alex stood gazing at the stars. He thought about the countless lives depending on him, on all of them. Humanity had always faced challenges, but this was different. This wasn't just about survival. It was about proving they belonged among the stars. For so long, humans had been small, isolated, and afraid. Now, they were stepping into the unknown, ready to fight for their place. The galaxy trembled as humanity readied itself for war. Fear lingered in every shadow, but so did resolve. Ethan, Sam, Laura, and thousands of others stood united, knowing the battle ahead would test everything they had. And though the outcome remained uncertain, one truth shone brightly: humanity would not go quietly into the darkness. The first real battle came sooner than anyone expected. A small UDF squadron, led by Captain Ryan Mitchell, was patrolling near Proxima Centauri when they encountered a group of Krill scout ships. The alien vessels were sleek and dark, their surfaces shimmering like liquid metal. They moved with unnatural speed, surrounding the human ships before anyone could react. Ryan's voice crackled over the comms as he gave orders to hold position. "Stay calm," he said, though his own heart raced. "We don't know what they're capable of." The Krill struck without warning. Their weapons fired beams of searing energy, slicing through shields and hulls alike. One human ship exploded in a blinding flash, its crew lost in an instant. Panic threatened to overwhelm the squadron, but Ryan kept his cool. He ordered his pilots to scatter, using the debris field around Proxima Centauri as cover. Samantha Sam Rivers, stationed aboard one of the support vessels, worked frantically to reroute power to failing systems. Her hands flew across the controls as alarms blared around her. "Come on, hold together," she muttered under her breath. Ethan Cole, part of the ground team preparing for potential boarding actions, watched helplessly as the battle unfolded outside. His stomach churned with fear and frustration. He wanted to do something, anything, but there was nothing he could do from inside the ship. Instead, he focused on readying his gear, checking and rechecking his rifle. If the Krill boarded them, he vowed silently, they would regret it. Back at command, Commander Alex Carter monitored the skirmish from New Horizon. Every update brought more bad news. Damaged ships, injured crews, dwindling ammunition. But then something unexpected happened. Sam managed to hack into the Krill communication network, disrupting their coordination. Using her makeshift code, she broadcast false signals that confused the enemy fleet. Their movements became erratic, giving Ryan's squadron a chance to regroup and counterattack. With renewed determination, the human ships launched a coordinated assault. Ryan led the charge, targeting the largest Krill vessel. His fighter darted between blasts of energy, closing in until he was close enough to fire. The shot hit its mark, disabling the alien ship's main weapon. Emboldened, the rest of the squadron followed suit, taking down 2 more Krill ships. The remaining scouts fled into the void, leaving behind smoldering wreckage. Though victorious, the cost was high. 3 human ships had been destroyed and dozens of lives lost. Among them was Lieutenant Harper, a close friend of Ethan's. When the news reached him, Ethan felt a cold rage building inside. He clenched his fists, vowing silently to make the Krill pay for every life they took. Sam tried to comfort him, but words felt hollow. There was no solace in victory when so much had been sacrificed. News of the battle spread quickly across human space. For the first time, people saw the Krill as a real and deadly threat. Colonies tightened their defenses, while factories worked overtime to produce more ships and weapons. Earth's leaders, once divided, now stood united. Senator Grace Monroe publicly praised the bravery of the UDF, calling for even greater efforts to protect humanity. "We are stronger together," she declared during a broadcast. Her words resonated deeply, inspiring hope amid the fear. On New Horizon Alex gathered his officers to debrief. Laura presented new data recovered from the destroyed Krill ships. She explained how their technology relied on complex energy matrices, which could be disrupted with specific frequencies. This discovery gave humanity a critical advantage. Armed with this knowledge, engineers began upgrading all UDF vessels to counteract Krill systems. As the days passed, Ethan threw himself into training harder than ever. Each drill, each simulation, brought him closer to being ready for the next encounter. Sam stayed by his side, offering encouragement and sharp jokes to lighten the mood. Together, they pushed themselves and their fellow soldiers to improve, knowing that every second counted. The galaxy trembled as humanity faced its first taste of war. Though battered, they had proven they could fight back. The Krill might be powerful, but humans had something the aliens didn't: resilience. and as long as that spirit remained unbroken, humanity would keep standing, no matter how fierce the storm became. During a routine patrol near the edge of human space, Ethan Cole and Samantha Sam Rivers stumbled upon something unexpected. Their small scout ship detected a faint distress signal coming from a drifting vessel. The craft was unlike anything they had seen before. Its design was sleek but damaged, with glowing runes etched into its surface. Cautiously, they docked and boarded the ship. Inside, they found survivors, frail, insect-like beings who called themselves the Zenari. The Zenari were peaceful traders, fleeing from the Krill's relentless attacks. Their leader, Vera, spoke through a translator device, explaining how her people had been hunted and enslaved by the Krill for generations. She revealed horrifying details about their enemy. The Krill weren't just conquerors, they sought to wipe out entire civilizations, leaving no trace behind. Worse still, the Krill planned to use a superweapon, a device capable of destabilizing entire star systems, to crush resistance once and for all. Vera begged for sanctuary, offering humanity vital information in return. She described weaknesses in Krill technology and shared coordinates to key targets, including the location of the superweapon. Alex Carter, after hearing Ethan and Sam's report, agreed to help. Humanity needed allies, and the Zenari's knowledge could tip the scales in their favor. With the Zenari engineers working alongside Dr. Laura Bennett, breakthroughs began to happen. Together, they modified human ships to emit frequency pulses that disrupted Krill shields and communications. Laura marveled at the Zenari's ingenuity, though she couldn't shake the sadness in Vera's eyes. The alien leader carried the weight of her people's suffering, yet she remained determined to fight back. As preparations intensified, tensions rose among the UDF ranks. Some soldiers resented the presence of the Zenari, fearing they might bring more danger than aid. Ethan noticed this growing unease and confronted his fellow troops. "They're running from the same monsters we are," he said firmly. "If we turn them away, we're no better than the Krill." His words quieted the doubters, earning him respect, even from those who had questioned his youth and inexperience. Ethan spent more time with Vera as the days passed. He listened to her stories of the Zenari's lost homeworld, destroyed by the Krill centuries ago. Her pain reminded him of his own loss, forging a bond between them. Though their species were vastly different, they shared a common goal: survival. Sam teased Ethan about spending so much time with Vera, but her jokes lacked bite. She understood what the Zenari meant to their chances of winning the war. Meanwhile, Commander Alex Carter finalized plans for a daring mission. Intelligence suggested the Krill flagship housed the control center for their superweapon. A strike team would infiltrate the vessel, disable the weapon, and escape before reinforcements arrived. It was a risky plan, but it was the only way to stop the Krill's advance. Ethan, Sam, and Laura volunteered immediately, knowing the stakes. Vera insisted on joining them, arguing that her knowledge of Krill tactics could save lives. On the eve of the mission, Alex addressed the strike team. "This isn't just about us," he said, his voice steady but filled with emotion. "It's about every colony, every family, every life depending on us to stand against the darkness. We faced fear before. Now we face it together." His words resonated deeply, strengthening their resolve. As the team boarded their ship, Ethan glanced at Sam, then at Vera. They nodded silently, united by purpose. Ahead lay danger, uncertainty, and the possibility of death. But also hope. Humanity wasn't alone anymore. With the Zenari by their side, they stood ready to face the Krill head-on. The galaxy trembled as two unlikely allies prepared to challenge an ancient evil. Whatever happened next, one thing was certain: humanity would not go down without a fight. The strike team launched their mission under the cover of darkness. Their small, modified ship slipped through Krill patrols, using frequency pulses to mask its presence. Inside, Ethan Cole gripped his rifle tightly, his knuckles white. Beside him, Samantha Sam Rivers double-checked her equipment, muttering instructions to herself. Dr. Laura Bennett reviewed the schematics of the Krill flagship one last time, while Vera stood silently, her large, luminous eyes reflecting both fear and determination. When they reached the flagship, the team docked carefully, avoiding detection. The airlock hissed open, and they stepped into the alien vessel. The corridors were dimly lit, with walls that pulsed faintly, as if alive. Every sound echoed unnaturally, making it hard to tell if they were truly alone. Ethan took point, scanning ahead for threats. Sam followed close behind, ready to disable any traps or locks they encountered. Laura and Vera brought up the rear, carrying tools and data devices essential to their mission. They moved quickly but cautiously, guided by Vera's knowledge of Krill architecture. She pointed out hidden cameras and pressure-sensitive floors, helping them avoid ambushes. Despite her calm demeanor, Ethan noticed her trembling hands. He offered a reassuring nod, which she returned with a weak smile. They were all scared, but fear wouldn't stop them now. As they neared the core chamber housing the superweapon, resistance grew fiercer. Krill soldiers appeared in groups, their weapons firing bursts of energy. The team fought back, relying on teamwork and quick thinking. Sam hacked into a control panel, sealing doors to block reinforcements. Ethan provided cover fire, his aim steady despite the chaos. Laura used her frequency disruptor to disable enemy shields, giving them an edge in battle. Finally, they reached the heart of the flagship. The core chamber was massive, filled with glowing conduits and humming machinery. At its center stood the superweapon, a towering device pulsing with dangerous energy. Guarding it was the Krill commander, a towering figure clad in black armor adorned with jagged spikes. His presence radiated menace, and his voice boomed like thunder when he spoke. "You are too late," he declared, raising his weapon. "Your worlds will burn." A fierce fight erupted. The Krill commander was fast and brutal, wielding a blade that crackled with energy. Ethan charged forward, drawing the commander's attention to give the others time to work. Each swing of the blade forced him to dodge, his movements fueled by adrenaline. Meanwhile, Laura and Vera worked together to access the weapon's controls. Sam guarded them, taking out smaller Krill drones that tried to intervene. Ethan struggled to hold his ground. The commander landed a blow, sending him sprawling. Pain shot through his side, but he gritted his teeth and pushed himself up. "Not today," he growled, firing his rifle at the towering alien. The distraction gave Laura the opening she needed. With Vera's help, she initiated the shutdown sequence, causing the superweapon to sputter and spark. Realizing their plan, the commander roared in fury and lunged at Ethan. But before he could strike, Ethan made a split-second decision. He activated a grenade-like device on his belt, a prototype designed to overload energy systems, and hurled it toward the weapon. "Get down," he shouted. The explosion engulfed the chamber, destroying the superweapon and knocking everyone off their feet. When the smoke cleared, the team lay battered but alive. Ethan, however, was gone. His sacrifice had saved them, and possibly humanity itself. Stunned and grief-stricken, the survivors regrouped. Laura transmitted the success of their mission to Alex Carter, who ordered immediate extraction. As they limped back to their ship, Vera whispered a prayer for Ethan's soul. Humanity had paid a heavy price, but the tide of the war had turned. The galaxy trembled no longer. Humanity had proven it would fight to protect its future. The destruction of the Krill superweapon marked a turning point in the war. News of the strike team's success spread quickly, reaching every colony and outpost. Cheers erupted in crowded streets as people celebrated the victory, though the cost weighed heavily on those who knew the truth. Ethan Cole's sacrifice became a symbol of humanity's courage and determination. His name was spoken with reverence, his story told to inspire others. On New Horizon *, Commander Alex Carter stood silently in his quarters, staring at a photo of Ethan among his unit. He felt pride but also sorrow, knowing that such losses would never truly fade. Back aboard the UDF fleet, the remaining members of the strike team recovered from their injuries. Dr. Laura Bennett worked tirelessly to analyze data retrieved from the flagship, uncovering even more about the Krill's plans and weaknesses. With Vera's help, she developed new strategies to counter their technology. The Zenari leader remained steadfast, vowing to continue fighting alongside humanity. "Your bravery honors my people," she told Laura one evening. "We will not let Ethan's death be in vain." Samantha Sam Rivers struggled to cope with the loss of her friend. She threw herself into repairing damaged ships and upgrading weapons, trying to keep busy. But late at night, when the work was done, she found herself staring at the stars, wondering if Ethan could see them too. One day, while working on a prototype engine, she engraved his name onto a small metal plate. It wasn't much, but it helped her feel closer to him. The Krill, reeling from the loss of their superweapon, launched desperate attacks across human space. But without their ultimate weapon, their assaults lacked coordination. Humanity's forces, bolstered by Zenari support and improved technology, pushed back fiercely. Battle after battle turned in their favor, driving the Krill fleet deeper into retreat. Senator Grace Monroe addressed the colonies, praising the unity and resilience that had carried them through. "We have shown the galaxy what we are made of," she declared. "We are not afraid." As the war shifted, Earth's leaders began planning for the future. They reached out to other species oppressed by the Krill, offering aid and alliance. Refugees from distant worlds found shelter within human borders, bringing stories of suffering and hope. Together, these scattered peoples formed a coalition dedicated to ending the Krill's reign of terror. Months later, the final battle took place near a remote star system. The UDF, joined by Zenari ships and vessels from allied races, faced the remnants of the Krill fleet. The fight was brutal, with both sides taking heavy losses. But in the end, humanity's ingenuity and determination won out. The Krill commander fell in combat, and their forces dissolved into chaos. What remained of their once mighty empire fled into the unknown, leaving behind only silence. In the aftermath, humanity emerged scared but stronger. Earth became a beacon of hope for oppressed civilizations, earning respect and gratitude from across the galaxy. Alex Carter stepped down as commander, passing leadership to younger officers like Ryan Mitchell. He chose instead to travel among the colonies, listening to the people and sharing stories of those who had fought and died. Laura continued her research, now focused on rebuilding rather than destruction. Sam opened her repair shop on a quiet moon, just as she'd promised Ethan. And Vera stayed by humanity's side, ensuring her people's legacy lived on. Though scars remained, so did the bonds forged in fire. The galaxy trembled no longer. Humanity had proven itself capable of standing against the darkness. For the first time in centuries, peace seemed possible, not because the galaxy was safe, but because its people were ready to face whatever came next.